was a flash, then nothing. Just like that, a story ended. More than one, I reckon. And she came, colder than a blizzard, as cold as death. A deal was made, a pact with the Grim, to walk the boneyard and keep the scales even. In return, I get vengeance. I didn't know a vengeance I wanted, but a hatred boiled up in me that I needed it, craved it. Now I wander the boneyard alone, the desert of Mortis where the stories find their epilogue. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know who needs to die, but I know I need to kill him. I need to claim my vengeance for my son. I had a family once. Then there was a flash. Then nothing.
You're live.
Hello and welcome to Penny for a Tale. Tonight we are playing episode 49 of our special Pathfinder 2nd Edition Adventure Path. This is book 4 of Age of Ashes. But before we get into the sponsors for tonight's session, let's reintroduce our cast, starting with Jen.
Hello, I'm Jen, and tonight I will be playing Altair Vesima, the catfolk swashbuckler, and yeah.
Mr. Smith.
Hello, I'm Mr. Smith. Tonight I will be playing the Pale Stranger, the walking gunslinger from the undead.
Sam.
Hello, I am Sam, and I do not have a cool voice, but I am playing Aghi tonight, and it's gonna be great.
Hi guys, I'm Daniel. I am playing a person of mystery, and we will find out about that later.
And James.
Hi everybody, I'm James, and tonight I will be playing King Haral himself. The king is dead. Long live the king.
Long live the king, indeed. Well, tonight's session is brought to you by Smiteworks. They are the creators of Games of Unity, which you see we've been using for over a year now, exclusively on the Age of Ashes stream. If you're interested in getting into virtual tabletops for Pathfinder or D&D or a load of other systems like Savage Worlds, I could not recommend them highly enough. Go to fantasygrounds.com. We also use The Only Sheet. They're a sponsor of this show. If you like Excel and you like managing your entire Pathfinder party, or maybe just some of them, it's a Excel-based character management tool for 1st and 2nd edition, as well as Dungeons & Dragons. It's super nice, super polished. It will automate everything for you. Just give them a shot. Go to theonlysheet.com. And then our music tonight is by Rock Narden and Michael Gelfi. You can find links to their stuff in the show notes. But let's get into tonight's game. So we left off in the temple district of Sagarak. Near the temple, but not quite there. Where Aghi was met by a couple of concerned, we'll call them citizens of the world. The Pale Stranger, accompanied by this woman. And my first question is, Aghi, do you recognize this woman before you?
She feels like almost she recognizes her, like she's probably seen her somewhere, but cannot quite place it.
Right.
Well, How many cat folk has she met, though?
That's me. Yeah.
It's been a crazy couple of months.
Altair, you recognize Aghi, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I am carrying around that painting.
Which Aghi
Indeed
is
you
focused
are.
on.
And Aghi, you notice, you might forget for a moment that you have scores of Brave Knights in tow, awaiting the command of you or the undead king who rules over them, King Haral, who accompanies you. But who exactly they follow commands from in the heat of battle remains to be seen. But it's sort of a strange crossroads. 4 people here for pretty different reasons. Altair, what do you do as you approach Aghi?
Oh, God. Well, yeah, I mean, again, when we ended last session, you know, she would approach with the painting and just be like, so, you're late.
Aghi just sort of narrows her eyes, looking at the painting. Where the fuck did you get that?
My former student was master to the one you call Sailix, and entrusted me with this task of seeing what you are doing here to its end.
Well, as you can see, we're about to go into battle, so don't much need a fucking painting here.
He always did have a flair for the dramatic, much as I understand Sailix does as well. And she'd sort of put the painting to the side. So, where is the rest of you?
Pale Stranger was walking up with his spurs clinking on the ground. Oh, red with the tusks. I remember you. You and the waggly fingers with an angel, yeah? Trying to break the rules of the game. Grim saw fit to set you free. Where's the angel now? More importantly, where's that fucking waggly finger?
Aghi looks at this new person and then back to Altair. What the fuck is he saying?
I don't really know. He says a lot of strange and peculiar things that I assume he thinks are clever. But anyway, I believe we have a task to
Listen, kitten,
achieve.
we'll get you some catnip later and calm the fuck down.
I am calm. You're the one who sounds a bit upset. How my words cut you down so easily, stranger?
Words ain't nothing but words. We got a problem to solve, do we not?
Indeed.
Yeah, and we're wasting time.
He looks at Haral very pointedly.
Altair also, looks a little uncomfortable at the army of undead behind them, but, is sort of just in that casual samurai stance with, resting her hand on the pommel of the sword or whatever. Everything's fine, whatever.
Red, what are you doing with the dead here?
Aghi doesn't seem to realize you're talking to her.
He's still just looking at her.
Haral just glares. He's glowering in the back.
So, do you actually know what we're walking into, or are we just hoping for the best and, you know, using some sort of you only live once strategy?
Yeah, well, you'll note real quick, things are complicated. Because you'll see behind Haral an army, not like the ones you hear far off in the distance going to war, but a small army, a unit of sickly, evil undead things. They follow his command. He is undead as well. Your job here is to take care of an undead problem. Kind of interesting. You might be allied with some of the very undead you seek to cleanse that's festering in Sagarak. But you do see the temple, not far. Sort of off in the distance. It's tall enough.
And I feel like when she finishes with the "you only live once" comment, she'd like look pointedly towards Haral and the Grave Knights. Wow, that's how it's supposed to work.
If only.
Listen, every single one of you fuckers in this goddamn town fucked up centuries ago. Now my scraggly ass has got to come here and fix your problem. So get your dead asses
Nobody
moving and
asked
let's
you to
fix this
come
fucking
here.
shit.
That's
Oh,
where
you
you'd
don't
be
ask me
wrong.
to come anywhere. I know where I need to be, and this is it. Because of your dead dwarven ass. Now, Red, Spitfire, whatever the fuck your name is, woman, are you leading this dead drop folk or what?
Haral looks at Aghi and is like, would you like me to remove his tongue for him?
Remove tongues myself. I feel
I'd
like
like
Aghi
to
would just
see
start
you
walking.
try. There we go. This is what we call getting the job done.
You're so wonderful at making friends, stranger.
Fuck friends, I'm here to do work. I'm ready to kick some ass, and I sense there are a lot of asses to kick up there. So let's do this shit.
Indeed there are. And it won't take long to reach the steps of the first winding path of stone stairs carved into this massive natural formation. But as you do, Altair, do you wish to say anything to Aghi? You're here for a reason. It's not entirely to break the curse, though. Your fate is tied to her, at least in some small way now, so you may speak to her if you'd like.
Why aren't the others of your group here? There is some we were sent to see.
Look, I don't know who the fuck you are, but suffice it to say there's someplace else.
What's your name, Red?
Aghi.
Standing before you are two members who follow Pharasma, here on her orders. The Lady Death wishes to see shit stay dead. So we are here to fix this problem. We were not necessarily expecting you, or not just you, that's for damn sure.
Oh, sorry to burst your bubble, but it's just me.
Oh no. Yeah, Spitfire, I like you.
I imagine we'll be meeting.
And
We'll be seeing the one we came to find sooner or later.
I feel like Augie would pause for a moment and sort of round on Altair. Just why the fuck are you here to see him?
Hmm?
Why are you here to see Sailix?
Who said I was here to see Sailix?
That one keeps talking about an angel. It's the only one with wings I know. And Trouble always seems to be looking for him.
Ain't that the
There are
fucking
more
truth?
stories in this book than just his. But for now, we have a battle to fight.
Speaking of stories, there are a few that are supposed to end this evening. Let's see to it we close their chapters, shall we?
Finally, you say something of merit.
I'm always saying
Augie,
something of merit. You just need to use those ears better.
How do you feel with the strange faces fighting by your side? Augie?
Augie doesn't trust them.
Yeah.
And she sort of thinks that they might be here to harm her family, so.
Right, yeah, and speaking of family, a sight for sore eyes, a familiar face as you approach the pillar to the temple. You see Will
Fuck you.
standing by the railing, the entrance, the stairs that lead up. You're there. There's no army here to fight yet. You didn't expect one, but you don't know what Will's been up to. Probably has some.
Do we see him?
to do. Yo, you all seem to arrive. He's sort of just standing there at the base.
Augie just pauses and stops. Will?
Will will turn around with his heel and look dead at her. Sorrow kind of filling his face as he bites back on his own inside of his own cheek. Augie, wear your gloves.
She holds up her hands. She's wearing them. She kind of staggers forward, like completely confused, and walks towards him.
I feel like Altair will like stand and like sort of observe this with like a slight head tilt.
The stranger pointedly looks at Altair before just giving a huff.
Will kind of meet Aghi halfway. His hand will very lightly touch her arm, kind of shakily, as he kind of pulls back. We're here to do a job. Sailix is going to have my ass if we don't do it, so let's get it done. Okay.
But how did you get here?
Magic. I'll just kind of like puff her cheek and like run a thumb along like the bottom of her, underneath of her eye.
Okay.
He throws up a hood around his face. before turning and like patting her on the shoulder.
Magic, just magic.
Aghi accepts that.
Yeah, something
This
seems
little
off.
reunion done.
Well, are you sure you're ready for this?
I've been through more wars than you have fingers.
Hmm.
So let's do this.
Ah, Death's been trailing you for a while, whoever you are. I'd say he's more than ready.
I feel like Altair just gives the stranger a look, like that side eye that only cats can give.
I can see the wars
Seriously.
this boy's been through. He's seen death for a long time.
Will kind of like peer over his shoulder at the pale stranger and Altair. Yeah, you could say the lady are quite intimate.
You and Graham, huh? Or this
One and
one?
only. He'll just kind of like pat her on the lower back as he walks forward, like leaving the conversation
Mhm.
behind.
That's what I thought. I believe there are people up there waiting to be dead. Let's not keep them, shall we?
Stare at Beckon.
Yep.
Who leads? Aghi.
Yeah.
You notice, yeah, the Grave Knights, they follow Haral. Haral, are you keen on leading them in this expedition?
No. I think that
Yeah.
Haral is kind of hanging back with his Grave Knights behind him, kind of watching this scene play out in front of him.
Yeah.
He's been waiting to be dead for 700 years, so another couple of hours isn't going to bother him much.
Their teeth iridescent, almost glowing, despite the darkness around. But they look at you. They're awaiting a command. They could march single file up these steps, but it's only about that wide. They look to you. Go ahead.
He would, without speaking, kind of make a hand sign, and half of the Grave Knights go forward, and the other half stay behind him, and they stagger, kind of ranger file, one to either side. Not necessarily single file in a line, but like one to the left, one to the right, and they scout ahead. He turns to the tiniest of the Grave Knights and says, "Toby, you stay here with me." Toby, the tiniest Grave Knight. He's more of a Grave Squire. He has he's the standard bearer. He has the, Haral's banner.
You notice by now your race.
Give me my hammer.
He complies, and your wraiths have arrived as well. They can utilize flight, but they're not strong. You can have them scout if you would like.
They know.
But Aghi, you have a brief chance.
I would say they.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the wraiths would probably do just that and be kind of like an overwatch, and be able to, since I do have message as a cantrip, they would be able to communicate back to me silently.
Yeah. With that, they will. They'll move up.
For what it's worth, just a quick point of description. When the Pale Stranger is near, there's this low-level sort of twitch on everybody as he has a frightful presence. He's not really imposing it on anyone here, but it certainly causes everyone's sort of hair to stand up on the back of their necks, just as a description point.
Yeah. You and Aghi, do you spearhead this double file march up the stairs? Altair?
Oh, the stranger is not holding back in any way.
Yeah,
Right.
same.
Oh, yeah. Augie's pretty certain
it's
that
not
they already
wrong.
know that they're coming.
Yeah, there's an eerie feeling that there's no way you're not going to be met with some resistance. And it's one of those moments
On that
where you
note,
have to wonder. Mhm.
I would like to cast Detect Magic, just to see if we're walking into any magical traps.
Yeah, of course. To the best of your abilities with the distance and with the help of the wraiths, you've learned ahead of time that it's quite clear they'll be expecting you on the first platform. It's known as Bulka's Plateau. There's a small overlook to which you can see the grand mausoleum in all of its unglory. But there's a small army up there. You know this in advance. Okay, what do you do?
I would
When you say small
definitely
army, how many
convey
people
that
are we
to the rest of
talking?
the group.
Well, hard to count skeletons. They're just a pile of bones, conveniently divisible. At least 100.
This is what we prepared for. We were
I've been
expecting
preparing for
this.
this for centuries.
Well, please, after you then.
Oh, don't mind if I do, dead man.
No, boys. I left my ruler at home.
Don't worry, mine's bigger.
I feel like that would make her like look at Hral for a second, look at the others. I really don't care.
Haral doesn't answer. He just kind of like smirks. I'll let him think that if he wants.
Oh, excellent. The undead, they're interrupted in this endeavor of I'm sure, only fruitful outcomes. But you arrive at the platform. Aghi, you're first, before immediately being followed by 4 disparate units of 20 Grave Knights. Battlefield is kind of a maze. You see skeletons. Shuffle, they sort of move in. They're blocking the way up further. They have strength in numbers, but that might be their only strength.
They need to go.
Interesting you say
Is
that.
there anything on the ground that Aghi could sort of use as like a battering ram to just like beat them away? She's just trying to get to the top of this thing as fast as she can.
So sort of, this place is kind of a maze. You'll soon realize, and they're all about. The 4 units of Grave Knights, they're with you as they shuffle up, but these skeletons, they don't move. And they're not even quite that uniform. The large tokens facilitate large numbers. So a 4x4 would be about 16 or 20 skeletons. So there's easily over 100 enemies on the board ready to move in and to strike, but you have some of your own in turn. So, yeah, are you looking for something like a battering ram?
Yeah, she's hoping to just swipe them aside with the hopes of knocking them off of this platform, but whatever
That's
she's
what
able
Will
to find.
Yeah. How about you, Will?
Will is watching.
Watching. Yeah, Aghi is still being strange.
I feel like she would just write that off as being back in a battle.
Must be.
Does strange things, yeah.
Altair. You do.
So they're all just stationary?
Yeah, they're waiting. They're strategically guarding the points to which this maze of a platform leads to the next flight of stairs. They're guarding it, almost giving you a chance to turn away.
I mean, I feel like she just wants to fight. So, she would like look at the stranger and just be like, "Shall we dance then?"
What's taking you so long? Get that skinny butt out there and do something.
Please tell me you end that answer by just firing away.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Without
yeah.
question.
Okay, good. All right.
And I feel like she would race along the bullet's trajectory to fight with the
All right. Well,
saber.
yeah. Okay. Well, I will give you a move action, Altair, and stranger, I will give you one attack. If you're attacking, you will attack on the combat tracker. These tokens are not integrated, but I have them dead here. Somewhere. There it is. You should find the skeletons on the combat tracker. I've rolled initiative. You can take both your one action each. Then we go from the top with King Haral.
The stranger reaches into his jacket and throws a little, almost a little rum barrel over towards the nearest group of them.
Yeah.
It is a gunslinger ability called Exploding Shot. As the barrel hovers over the group of them, he shoots it, and it will, if he hits AC of 24, it will explode, doing 6d8 damage in an area of 20 feet.
68 damage in an area of 20 feet.
Correct.
You're making an attack roll?
Yes, but I don't have to hit them. I have to hit the barrel. It's a default difficulty of 24.
Can I get a dexterity check for how well you throw the barrel? Because I'm curious how close you get it to the center of this mass of skeletons. You're throwing the barrel, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Right. Yeah, you can make a... okay, all right.
You just wanted a straight dex, yeah?
Yeah.
Here's the shot. Easily hits.
Fantastic. 32. It's the one nearest, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Skeletons
Here's that one. And initial total of 31 points of damage to all of them.
31 points of damage. To everyone targeted in the radius present, you couldn't hit it dead on in the center. You got the front face. Half of this patch of skeletons wiped out immediately. Shattered into bone dust. The ones behind them just scrambling to get into battle. I imagine they're met almost immediately by the presence of an Altair charging straight towards them.
Oh, yes.
That puts us at top
and
of the initiative. Go ahead.
She is totally just doing like the fleet, like samurai thing where, again, it's like that straight shot. And again, like she is wearing, kind of a beautiful kimono and everything that looks really elegant, and you would not think that one would be able to move as quickly as she is. And she seems to be like using like the environment to do extra added flashy tricks to get there faster.
Yeah. All right. Well, top of initiative for all. Would you like to command
I
one
don't
of
think.
these units of Grave Knights?
Yes, I don't think Harald himself would engage in combat, but definitely
Yeah.
would send one of these Grave Knight units. Um, likely after seeing the destruction that the Pale Stranger and Altair have brought on that unit to the east, he would send them against the large unit. This one here in the center, the largest group.
Yeah. Right. Your throne guard, the group on the far left, they will move. At most, they can move up to their speed because there's so many of them clustered together in a formation. They have to navigate tightly around. 5. They move
And I think that
closer.
the rest of them would kind of form a like a protective phalanx kind of in front of Harald. He's standing behind them.
Excellent. Now, Aghi,
Yeah.
do you act upon this? It seems he's calling the shots with the Grave Knights. You're such a small fraction of his age, and yet do you feel more capable than Harald to lead these Grave Knights to victory? Does Aghi?
She does.
Yeah, well, would you try to interject for the other 3?
So let me look at the map. Can Augie see the stairs that go up from where she's at, or is it all kind of obscured by rubble?
Well, the stairs are so tall you can see where they lead eventually to, but you can't actually see the base of the stairs.
All right.
It's sort of the pinch there, yeah.
So Augie would look at Haral and just, it's about fucking time you're doing something, and look at the other Grave Knights because he had said that they were hers, and point them just to like continue forward to like just clear a path, so like
Across.
straight in front of them. Yeah.
It's interesting. They move forwards as best they can, branching out. They're no longer really solid units, but you notice one group stands behind. They sort of fill around Harald, but they stand behind you. You've given them orders to charge forwards. They seem at your defense. This is the Blade Guard. These are the Grave Knights designed specifically to protect the throne room. The other ones, they took your word over Harald for matters of battle, but these ones were given a command. And it seems you can't instruct them otherwise. They're on your heels.
Can't fucking
We'll
fight
get
if
back
you're
to that.
back there.
Through your and they don't seem to respond to you. They follow an
Harald
order.
just like gives her a look.
Yeah. His frightful presence influences even them. I've rolled the rest of the initiatives. Some of them didn't roll, but Pale Stranger, You are top above Haral, but we will just continue down in the order. What do you do?
Oh. Stranger's gonna go ahead and move forward. He has a ability that allows him to strike and move within the same action.
Stranger's gonna go
He
ahead
will
and move forward.
take that.
Excellent.
He has 2
He'll
actions left,
attack.
doesn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he'll just he'll pop off 2 shots. Oh,
Well, wouldn't you know it?
Whew.
Both critical. Technical criticals. Now these things are skeletons.
oh, let me re-roll that. Sorry.
God.
Yeah, I mean, you don't hit a thing that does not shatter. 4 dead. That main group, the first group there, is really just a small band of skeletons by now, wandering about. But you see as you head up, a much more fearsome troop.
So as the pale stranger walks forward, he pulls a second pistol from another holster, and just begins firing each of them one after the other. This green sort of flame getting sucked into the chamber before a ghostly pellet fires outward. Now he does particularly extra damage to those that are dead already, thanks to his connection to the boneyard. So he does additional positive damage for each skeleton hit. But as each bullet flies off, it can already be easily seen that the gun is reloaded with another ghostly bullet.
Altair. Half a dozen skeletons remain on the small pile of bones.
She's gonna start cutting through them. Unless, do I see anything, that looks like, a commander or a general or something?
Yeah, well, there looks like a sea of skeletons beyond, the one that Stranger's gracefully just walking over to. There's a skeleton in armor, holding a full suit of plate. It's hard to tell if anyone's really in charge, though. Skeletons are pretty mindless.
Okay. How far away is it from where I am, roughly?
50 feet?
Okay.
Yeah, 50 feet.
Yeah, so I feel like, yeah, so she would do, her first attack to, kill some fuckers. And, just roll the attack roll in the thing?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Well, nat
no.
20.
Yeah.
All right. This group of skeletons
So-
is nothing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, like, you know, as she's running, like, she doesn't even interrupt her stride. There's just a flash of light, and then they die.
All 5. Just whisked
Yeah.
away. Got it. You've got 2 actions.
So, alright, so, I will, go through, well, let's see. So I do also, well, I don't know, I guess it wouldn't really work. Like, intimidation doesn't exactly work on skeletons because I was like, I do have your next, so when things die, I can just be like, bye, bitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's attack again. That is not a great roll.
You could use that on the commander, or what appears to be the commander in that group, if you'd like. The demoralized check, right?
Okay. Sure.
Pointing that forward maybe might do it.
I mean, it is glowing with holy light, so. Intimidation. Ian, you did not give me my skills.
That would be a problem. Roll a d20.
Hey guys, I'm gonna upgrade it to master right now. Do I have my stats right? Okay.
Yeah, I rolled
Oh,
before
I
you.
should have. Okay.
To which you
Wow.
swung a natural 20 again. Wow, what are the odds? 401 was the odds. But yeah, go ahead again.
Yes. So, I feel like this is for the demoralized, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like again, she does that like charge and sweep and like, the bodies fall behind her and she just like looks up at the general and in the low light of the undead temple, her eyes are glowing that pale violet and are just filled with murderous hatred and righteous indignation as she slowly draws her blade in his general direction, saying without saying it.
He marches forward, doesn't he? Well, you see, Haral has ordered the protection of Aghi, whether or not she needs it. And Will, you're not that powerful, objectively speaking. You're really not a severe threat to anything on this board. You might be potent, but what do you do?
So Will would try to keep step with Aghi, with trying to stay out of her way at the same time, knowing that she likes to be up front in the fray. He would place a hand on her back, and when he does that, he will he'll cast shield, and then he will kiss her on the cheek and tell her, watch your ass out there, and cast Forbidding Ward on her, which all three will give her a +3 to her AC.
All right. Now, Aghi, what do you do?
So it seems like the pale stranger is just laying waste to all the like little skeletons
Oh yeah, that's his MO.
with this very strange weapon. But Altair seems to have found a general. So I feel like Aghi would just, let's see here, charge forward.
Mm-hmm.
5, 10. Yeah, I think she can make it there. It's gone. Stride twice to get to it.
No, so the ones she's looking at are further ahead, just
Okay.
beyond an armor.
Then Let's see. How far is she able to get if she strides twice? Sorry.
You should be able to get. We started.
Hate diagonal counting.
Yeah, it's 5, 15, 20, 25. What's your movement speed?
It is 30 right now.
2 actions will put you there.
All right. Yeah, that's what she's doing. But I feel like before she goes, at Will's comment, she'll just like smile at him and say, "Make sure you're watching my ass," and then like charge forward.
Are we?
Was
So
that
we're
an
moving
innuendo?
Directly past that.
It's hard to tell.
I mean, Zoggy's ass looked like, I guess.
And
She
I'm
is
sure
well
Haral's
built.
watching too.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Skeletons move strategically, spilling through dynamically, wisely. The general backs away, moving into the back of this mass of skeletons that move forward, some actually with tower shields, moving to challenge Aghi. They make enough distance. Do you have attack of opportunity?
Yes.
Okay, you may use it once, and then they will also make some moves on you as well. I need a fortitude save.
Alright. A bad fortitude save.
How did you do on the fortitude save?
31.
31. We're fine. Nothing's happened, but you've noticed there are ghouls among this crowd of skeletons, some gnashing at you and biting at you. The effect of a swarm like this, when you're taken in battle, is that you can't truly prevent all of the damage from coming through. It's not if you succeed or fail, it's more that there's only a matter of time before you fall in battle. As a result, the damage is made without an attack roll. Despite the rather weak nature of these skeletons, they quite literally pile on over you in combat. But they've all moved. That's their turn. And that would bring us back to the top with Pale's friend.
Does Aghi get her attack of opportunity?
Yes, she does.
Right. Oh, wait. Sorry, I lost the combat tracker. Does a 36 hit?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
It's a critical hit. This is an attack by fists.
I feel like she's just like wrenching them off of her and like tossing them aside.
Yeah. And slowly
And it's
but
also-
surely, their numbers start to shrink. Go ahead.
I was saying this also is knockback, so that's just her throwing them.
All right. Pale Stranger. In stride, what do you do?
The stranger watches the Spitfire Aghi charge in. Does she yell when she does that? Does she like that kind of just go rawr? Or she all pansy and just sort of runs up and smacks him.
Oh, she definitely lets out a roar of rage.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. He'll take aim, leveling both of his guns at whoever appears to be the leader of said group, because I believe you denoted a general of some sort. Is that right?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Great
He's
vision.
leveling a bead on that one.
Yeah.
He'll be using a 2-action ability that I cannot remember what it's called, so I should look at what my abilities are. Because this is all new to me. And I cannot see it on the list, so I'm just going to look. Paired shots. So what paired shots does is he fires both guns at the same time. The damage is resolved all together as one group of damage before any resistances are accounted for. So 2 bullets hit like one.
Excellent.
Huh. Same result. What's that?
I mean, that's a critical hit.
All right, that's fine. I like that. So let's do that. He does a grand total of 91 points of damage.
Flowing through.
He will then use, for his final action, 2-gun flurry, allow him to shoot both guns as a single action.
And who's this directed to?
The main group of the group that Aghi had charged into.
Yeah, both a hit. Excellent.
19 each.
Of course, they shrink in numbers considerably. The shield wall protected him, though. He actually fell to the ground at one point. There's no fear, though. It's merely a skeleton. Something about seeing to it that the unit remain organized, though. They're carrying out a mission. As a result, they're not smart, but they're cold and calculating. Do you have any actions left?
He does. He gets a reaction from his initiative to move 10 feet. That's it.
All right. Harold.
Oh, I think that Haral would direct the Grave Knights around him to follow Aghi towards that group.
Yeah.
Direct the ones here to, let's say, these guys to engage with the skeletons over there to the west. And
Absolutely.
Haral himself will kind of almost casually, with Toby by his side, just stroll into like the center of the platform. He's used to being king. He's used to kind of observing and letting his knights do their jobs because they do it well.
Yeah.
I have, 30 feet of movement? Yes? Or is it,
Yeah.
where's my movement?
Per action. You.
Because I know that Waldorff only gets 20 feet. Yeah, I'd say that Haral kind of goes. What is that structure there in the center? Looks like the book.
Yeah. Some tomes about.
That's the direction that he's moving.
Right.
10, 15, 20. And he's going to use all of his movement to kind of, well, most of his movement to get to, let's say, somewhere in this vicinity. He's like overly casual about it too.
Right. Yeah. You used to have dinners here. Banquets set on the platform to overlook the construction of the slag.
He's
Not
reminiscing. He's waxing nostalgic.
Yeah. Well, you can only for
I
so long.
remember.
The sound of battle as the undead begin to clash in great numbers. The Grave Knights picking off these skeletons. Just in the other room, you still have a sanctuary. There's relative peace here, despite the chaos.
It's that general on the battlefield that doesn't bother to duck as the bullets whiz by. You know, the guy in what's the movie Apocalypse Now with the cowboy hat. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. It smells like victory.
And Altair, you see this. They're all just strolling about. It's your turn. What do you do?
I want to follow up on the promise to that, general dude that I made, that he's next. So I can move a great deal of distance.
You can move up to him if you'd like. No?
Huh?
You can move
Can
directly up
I,
to him.
Okay, cool. Because I was gonna say, like, if you want me to roll athletics or acrobatics to do the thing of, like, hopping on the skeletons to get over there, I can do that.
Well, you
too.
can. That would prevent taking damage as you do so.
Okay, then let me do that. Because we might as well go all in on ridiculous bullshit. Well, so I forgot I still don't have skills. Alright, so, alright. I have assurance, though, for, athletics. So is, taking the 10, for 31 enough, or, do you want me to roll?
Well, you won't know until you do.
Okay.
You won't know if 31 is enough via assurance.
Okay.
So it's a gamble.
Okay. Alright, well, fuck it, let's roll. This is gonna suck. God damn it.
Make actually no. We'll use your AC to facilitate how you react here.
Okay.
But 40 will be a hit. You notice in that small circular chamber, it looked like a tower that was being built here on Volka's plateau. A creature reaches an arm out, grabs you and slams you to the ground, much larger than you, as you head to this captain. Glowing yellow eyes, the same light, almost frothing out of this thing's mouth. Its stench is foul. Some sort of plague or affliction, or just dark magic. But you are prone. You have Kippa, and you have 2 actions left.
I do.
What do you do?
Okay. Well, let's see. So, is this thing undead, or is it like just a demony thing?
Give a way to
Like-
detect that.
I have life sense, which should let me tell if it's alive or
It's not
animated?
undead.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is alive.
Okay. Alright. Well, I guess. And am I in melee range of the general dude or no?
You are. Yeah, you. No, you're still about 10 feet from him.
Okay. Alright. Well, then I guess I'll try to hit that thing. Because he's there. And since I have panache, I will use a bleeding finisher. Because he looks like he bleeds blood. So we'll see.
Yeah. Thing snarls. Yeah.
Ugh.
29 is a miss.
Alas. Okay. Then, I would like to do a tumble through action to recover panache. Is that athletics or acrobatics?
You're attempting to recover panache?
Yeah, so when I use a finisher, it gets rid of all of my panache.
Right.
So I have to do either intimidate or tumble through to regain panache so I can do damage. So I figure.
Well, you should have. If you attempt to tumble through again in order to get to this captain, that would be your chance to regain panache.
Okay.
If I'm understanding.
I would like to do that then.
Yeah.
So is that athletics or acrobatics?
Acrobatics.
Okay.
Which you have
I think that
assurance
was
on.
it. I do? I thought I had assurance on athletics.
You have assurance for both, I believe.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah, I'll use my assurance.
All right.
So that'd be like 35?
Yeah, you'll have no issue getting to him as he stumbles away in an attempt to essentially strategically flee. You have an action left. You've regained your panache. It's quite easy to maneuver past the skeleton.
Okay. Then in that case, I'm gonna try to hit him, and use, my perfect finisher. Which lets me roll twice, and take the higher result.
Heyo.
But I don't remember if that's on damage or attack, so like, and I don't have my book, so I'm sorry, Ian.
The rolling twice and taking the better result?
Yeah, I don't know if that's damage rolls or I assume it was attack, but I don't know entirely because I don't have the book. But anyway, I will hit him. Yeah. Oh god, I really hope it's the attack rolls and not damage rolls.
Yeah, it is for attack.
Phew! Okay. Hopefully higher. Big numbers. That's a way better number. Does that hit?
It hits.
Sweet. So, he then gets... Oh, wait a second. That. Plus, oh yeah, I forgot. He also takes extra positive damage because I have the same Dusk Walker feat.
All right.
And then he is undead, so I get that fancy thingy, right? 2d6 positive.
Indeed. It will be enough to kill this captain.
Okay, yeah, because then on top of it, my finisher does another 5d6.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, that group, those skeletons are almost, I mean, they're all but dealt with. This demon emerging, though, that's a different story. I think that's actions for you, though.
Mhm.
Bring this Aghi. You see this thing emerge. What do you do?
I got that thing. Is it still up on the wall, or has it come down?
So there's an opening in this tower. It's crumbled to an opening that meets the level. So it's level with you, standing above you, because it's much larger. Moving towards you. It has a pincher that's more like just like a massive claw of a sort, or even a pick used to shatter things.
There's too much getting in the way right now. Um, but if she doesn't take it out, it will just follow them probably. So she will charge towards that thing.
All right.
And is it on the combat tracker? Sorry.
Oh, yes, it is. But just go ahead and roll it. I'll assign it.
All right. Oh, I picked the wrong weapon. But okay.
It's a critical hit. Ooh.
We'll keep that.
17. Well done. Well damage.
I had damage.
Slide doubly. You have 2 actions left.
Yeah. With her next. She will.
That's a hit as well. All right.
And yeah, does she have? That's all her moves. So yeah, she like attacks it once with her axe and then follows up with her fist as she just sort of realizes that she likes hitting things more than she likes slicing them up.
Yeah. Interesting. What do you think Will would think?
Well, she's kind of in a battle right now, so
Or Will can wait.
Will can
Although
wait.
the skeletons do move in, they act as a swarm. For Altair and for Aghi, we will do fortitude checks. I'll make them both. Both successes. As some ghouls come out of the woodwork here, the ones that crawl on all fours in an attempt to bite and maim where they can. Aside from that, though, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
So since Altair has opportune riposte, could she have just like slashed at like a couple of them?
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a couple of them slashing at you back. 1, 2, 3 of them move in, so you can make those.
Let's see. So do you want me to just roll a normal attack then?
Yes.
Because I also, yeah. Oh, I don't know. Does that hit? Cool.
You may roll damage
Oh,
on the
okay.
dwindling
Sorry.
party here. Killing them as they come.
That plus 3. Because 1 for positive, 2 for just regular, because I don't have panache right now because I use a finisher.
Yeah.
And then the disrupting thing. So 1, 2. Okay.
1, 2. Only a few of them left. Moving to make Aghi's life harder. But stranger.
The stranger watches this foul beastie crawl up out of hell, and he looks at it, he cocks his head. Listen here, you son of a bitch, I'm the only fucking thing allowed to crawl out of hell. Piece of shit. As he levels his gun. A glow appears from his chest as a flame begins to writhe and spiral down his arm into his gun as he lets out Stranger's Shot, a 3-action shot. If he hits the creature, it is considered a critical. If it is a critical, he does extra damage.
All right. So this thing's screaming at you. At 43, wouldn't you know it, that would hit.
Is it a critical hit or just a hit?
It's a regular hit. Well...
Alright, so it acts as a critical for this shot.
You're off by 1. Yeah, it does.
Alright. So the flames spiral down and just wrap around the gun as the gun itself seems to... The barrel grows in size as the end of it grows a deadly skeletal face, and just screams can be heard as this massive ball of green deathly flame fires out towards the demon. Doing 59 damage.
59 points of damage. Bastard. Blow a hole in one of these arms. This thing screams and shrieks. You see that yellow, radiant, sappy substance coming out of this demon's body.
That's a warning shot, you piece of shit. Go sit down and I'll talk to you later. Be a good dog. The end of my turn.
All right. Hurral, how are you feeling?
He's smiling. Possibly
Yeah.
for the first time in 100 years. He's enjoying this.
Yeah, well, you notice...
What's the story on the skeleton archers up there in the northwest corner?
Yeah, it looks like they're prepared to let off a volley. As you trace, you look back and forth to get an idea of where they might be firing towards. So you made your men, but you notice something there. A loose stone. This wouldn't mean anything to anybody except for you. When you first met Valgora, the orc that many would say started this whole thing, she used to leave you notes behind that loose stone. You didn't know at the time when you were exchanging these letters that you would be only a few trysts away from starting a war between kingdoms. But suddenly the sound of war doesn't really register for you. You see it unfolding around you. the violence, the undead
He's
not dying.
in that space
Um,
of silence.
Yeah, and you see for
It's
a
like everything
moment.
dims.
In memory, you see Balgora place a letter in that little cubby, sort of sliding the stone back in and waiting for you. What do you do?
I definitely think that he would just go over and move the stone. You know, he feels like these, you know, adventurers, the Unforgotten, have the situation well in hand with the actual fighting, and his men are well trained and, you know, deadly in their own right. He's a general. He's a king. He's, you know, not one to get his hands dirty unless it's necessary. He is thinking about. I do have a quick question, as long as it is my turn. I'm looking at my character sheet, and I just noticed that one of my weapons, I guess, one of my items, is a wand of smoldering fireballs. And I was just wondering how many charges that has.
It has quite a few, and you're trying to recall. You remember that wand. It was a gift.
Because I don't have any stats for it.
Yeah. It belongs to someone, and you said you wouldn't use it unless you needed to. And you wouldn't use it without permission. But the woman who gave it to you is appearing before you. Jen, go ahead.
So you did come after all. I was worried you wouldn't show.
You knew I'd be here. How could I not?
Did I, though?
You seem to know everything.
But even as long as we've seen each other, and the time we've spent exchanging glances, these stolen letters, I still don't know if I could quite map out the entirety of your heart. I need more, Haral. I am tired of all the pretending, all of the hiding. It feels cowardly.
What more can I give you that I haven't already?
Your future. I want to be
I
with
have
you.
no future.
And you would give it up so easily? Why would you do that? Do I not mean enough to you?
You mean the world to me.
Then fight for our future. Fight for a world where we can have children who will grow up and carry on this place that we have built.
You don't know what you're asking.
Or maybe.
This is madness.
I know exactly
already.
what I'm asking. And you're too afraid to face it.
I would face anything for you.
Then stand
You'll
by
have
my
it.
side.
Aye,
And she would hold out her hand.
he'd take it. Almost without thinking.
Let's fight for the future. For this life we will have together, side by side. you and I
He just
and everything that is to come.
he just closes his eyes and nods.
Fading back in, you hear the din of battle once more. After your ears ring for a time, it's there. Sure as anything. Pearl, do you fight?
He does.
Right. And Balgora, who's been speaking to you, she starts to fade as the sound fades in. Is there anything you wish to say to her in particular?
We will be together soon, my love. Very soon.
I'll be waiting.
He like hefts his hammer and looks down at Toby.
He suddenly realizes he's caressing his face.
He's patting Toby's head. And yeah, he would kind of get that a similar look that those in the other group would have seen on Waldorff's face when he charged at the undead last session. That kind of wild-eyed, broad, toothy grin, and heft his hammer and charge. I'm just trying to decide who to charge at.
Well,
I think that the most interesting would be the demon. Yeah, I think that's he would go to back up Aghi because Aghi looks so much like Balgora.
Right.
He wouldn't be able to.
Really spitting image. And suddenly you're back in it again.
He's kind of like seeing them both at the same time, really.
And then with the charge, you enter the fray again.
Charge for the demon.
Right. That'll run actions for you. And then Altair, we're back with you. What do you do?
Okay. So, I would like to tumble through to get to the demon thing and recover my panache. And I'll use assurance.
All right.
So do I succeed? Yes. Good.
You're tumbling where?
I want to, ideally, to behind it, so that way, Aghi can have flanking. Or is it like on a wall?
Yeah. The with assurance, you said it's a 31.
It
Would be higher than that. It's
athletics.
a 35.
It's 35.
Right. Correct, rather. Okay, well, it's good you know this, because you'll use it next time. It's a miss by 1, and the thing isn't done with you.
Okay.
So in a fit of rage, it attempts to take its anger against the pale stranger out on you. Evil magic soaks its pincer, which it uses.
Oh, wait. Hang on a second. I don't think 33 is a hit. Or, like, my AC should be higher than that. Because I have dumb pirate things. Like, I think my AC should be 35. Because of, like, dueling stance or whatever.
Okay, yeah. Are you in a stance?
I mean, I thought so.
All right. Yeah. Okay, and then because the tumble failed, but I think you
Okay.
still move on a fail for
Okay.
tumbling.
Well, will I recover panache? That's the big question.
I think you recover with panache on a critical success, and so you don't
Oh,
recover
really?
the panache. Well, you
Oh,
failed
I thought it was just...
the-
Okay. Then... In that case, I will attempt to demoralize it. With an intimidating glare, because that's my other way of recovering panache. And that could be cool. I don't know if that's good enough or not.
It isn't for him.
Dang it. Okay. Well, then I'll try to hit him. Bummer. Alright.
32's a miss.
Alas.
Suddenly, you're
Okay.
cornered. A
That's
good
all my
backup, though. You'll note that this wall would be very easy to scale if you were in a pinch.
Okay.
The
Okay.
ruined stone. Aghi, you observe, Haral has joined to aid you in battle. As is Altair. Pale strangers behind you. Will's nowhere to be seen. But the Grave Knights, they've moved up to protect you.
Ooh,
Aid in battle here.
that worries her that Will is nowhere to be seen, but he can take care of himself. Hopefully. Really hate you. Yeah, she'll just continue attacking this thing because she's trying to get through this as quickly as possible. Oh gosh. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Look, just get them all out tonight because
Yeah.
next week we need all of you, all right?
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like she's like swinging but looking around the battlefield for Will as she's doing so, and then like the pops from that gun just like keep throwing her off.
Mm-hmm.
Excuses. Yeah. That's totally it.
Yeah.
Whatever
Well,
excuses
well.
you need.
Shh. Well, that's Aghi.
You'll find the two groups of undead that make up those small troops. They neutralize one another, meaning they're locked in combat. It's difficult terrain at best to move through, but they're no longer a threat to damage. There's really only a few of them left. Anyway, I think that puts us top of initiative with Pale Stranger.
Pale Stranger watches the demon try and strike out. I don't believe it made any successful hits, did it?
You or it?
It has not made any successful hits. Is that correct?
I think it has. Not on you, but on actually,
Is it on
wait.
Al?
It might have on Aghi. I don't remember. I believe it did on Aghi. Yeah.
Regardless, he watches that thing swing away. You pansy son of a bitch, I said sit the fuck down. As he levels his two guns and does piercing shot again, paired shot again to combine the damage as one. I'm guessing the 33 probably misses, but
First hit, second miss. Yeah.
yep. All right. 22 points of damage.
Excellent. This thing weeps. Out of rage. What else do you have?
That's it. The stranger shot lowered his actions by 1 for the next round.
All right. A claw attack at Aghi. This thing unleashes 38 is a hit. You result slashing damage. In addition, you're grabbed. For its second action, it uses captive rape on a creature that is grabbed by it. It pulls you closer by 5 feet. As a result, it makes 2 strikes against you. With its claws, not its puncher that grabbed you. Um, 29's a hit. Second strike. Should be at a penalty. I don't think a 23 would hit. The second one is a miss.
Yeah, because she has the bonus to her AC right now.
No, but just because the multi-attack penalty.
Gotcha.
Just as you ordered correctly. It has 1 action left, however. And it'll set its jaws on you.
Oh, thank God.
That one's a blatant miss. Haral. What do you do?
Oh, Haral is hitting it with a hammer. Just like full rage strike against this demon that's got Aghi in its grip. Trying to, take its legs out from under it or break its arm. With that massive hammer that he has. Where are you? I swear it was here a second ago. There it is. Do I need to roll that? Yeah.
Yeah, the hammer attack.
Plus 28.
Plus 28.
That'd be a 37.
37 hits. This is the demon, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that does...
Navigating along the edge where all the skeletons have met. Both troops shrinking considerably. You may roll damage. I can roll it for you as well.
2d12 plus 12. Bludgeoning plus 1d6 sonic. If you could roll that for me, because I'm having difficulty figuring out how to do that.
Yeah. And then you have 1 action left. You have moved and you've struck.
Oh, I'm swinging again.
Yeah, because Aghi seems, well, quite close to death.
Ho.
What?
47.
47 is a critical hit. I'll roll damage there for you. But yeah, while I'm rolling damage, I'll tear. What do you wish to do here?
So is the thing that has Aghi dead?
No, it's the thing just before you.
Okay. And I'm like behind it, right?
Yes. Yeah, you're providing
Okay.
that flank. Mm-hmm.
So the other thing it says in the books is that you can attempt ridiculous acrobatic maneuvers and dumb bullshit with the GM's discretion to regain panache. So I would like to attempt with the wall right here to run up it, do a flip, and then slam down.
All right.
Because I feel like that's some dramatic acrobatic bullshit.
Yeah. It certainly is. So, you know what? Yeah. Yeah.
Acrobatics or athletics, Ian?
Acrobatics.
Okay. Yes!
Excellent. Go ahead.
And I'm gonna do
41.
my perfect finisher.
If your attack succeeds, you'll have retroactively gained a panache for what you've done. If the attack
Okay.
fails, you will not.
Okay. Am I
You have your
allowed to
point.
use my perfect? Okay. Fuck it.
It's a hit. You get your
Okay.
panache, and you may roll damage.
Okay. Can I use my bleeding finisher, please? On top
Sure.
of my attack. Okay.
Yeah.
So damage, and it's not undead, right?
Fine.
Okay. So that should be, and then I get. How can I? Oh, I see. How can I roll a number of? Because I get to roll 5d6, and then it takes 5d6 of bleed damage, persistent bleed damage.
What's your question? So you
How
roll
do I
5d6
like?
for bleed?
Yeah, at once. Well, I mean, it takes my precision damage, which is 5d6, and then it takes 5d6 persistent bleed. So my question is, how do I roll 5d6 at once? Because I don't know how to do that, and I didn't want to roll one dice at a time.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, it's a right click
Okay.
while you're holding a die,
Okay.
but I've got it.
That's
Wow.
cool.
And then the next 5d6 for bleed.
Yep. Uh-huh.
It's on the cusp of death, but that pincher does not let up. Blood is dripping from Augie's body and then sort of pooling there at the bottom. Those are your 3 actions. For a jump, attack, and then a finisher.
Jump. No, finisher is the part of the attack. I would have to do something else to recover panache, though. But I could just try to strike normally. Which I might do if it's... Okay. If it's on death's door, then I will try to hit it. Nope.
critical miss.
Oh no!
Aghi, be careful here. What do you do?
I tried.
Good question. I feel like the only thing she can do right now is just try to bash its head in. Hopefully. Which might be the wrong answer. Oh my god.
Your first thought is to bash the head in on this thing.
That is Augie's first thought.
I mean, that's fair.
All right, yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, all right.
It's
well, you
Aghi and
two
it's a
actions left.
demon. I mean, what else do you expect?
Let's see. Would it be an acrobatics check to try and get out of the grapple? Or is she just held right now?
It would be. I would try to get out of that grapple. Yeah, it's an acrobatics check, or well, an athletics check. If you're trying to take control of the grapple,
Yes.
if you're trying to wrestle this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a success, actually.
Oh god.
Well done.
Next, she's gonna start biting it back.
Grab the hold.
Uh,
You have an action. What do you do?
let's see. Does she control the grapple now or is she out?
Control the grapple now.
Alright. Oh, damn it. Now that she controls the grapple, I feel like she'll just try and hit it again. Which is probably a bad idea.
All right.
It's at the second attack, right?
Yes.
Oh, yay.
86 is a hit. Your forlorn axe, huh?
Yep. Just try and swing it at. Let me actually do my axe damage. All right.
And with that being your turn, you notice something up above. A volley of arrows. Paral, Aghi, I need both of you to make reflex save.
Oops. Maybe we should hero point that.
Could if you'd like. Could if you like.
What's an
I think
arrow
I'm
gonna
okay.
do? I'll save it, yeah.
Should.
No. Okay, I'll use my hero point.
Are you using it?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Oh golly. Reflex save. It's gonna be worse. It was worse.
Oh my god! The fuck?
Oh no. Oh no.
Oopsie.
Well, that went poorly.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh,
Well,
oh no. It's fine. Shit. It's not fine.
You take proper double that. All, I believe, just takes by 1. He doesn't seem too concerned about it. You can see a volley of arrows just embedding into him from that last group of knights lurking in the back. They finally organized. Will still isn't anywhere to be found. But the skeletons have been losing numbers rapidly. The Grave Knights, I mean, they really wiped the floor with these. The battle starts to dwindle. With that, we go back to the top with the Pale Stranger.
All right. Give this a 3-action shot. Does a 33 hit?
A 33. 33 is a miss.
I'll hero point that one.
There it is.
Oh, same number. Well, I guess I'm not supposed to get that.
Mm. Those are your actions?
That is his action.
For all. What do you do?
How is this demon looking? Like, is it looking pretty rough?
Yeah. Yes. It's on death's door. It's trying to take someone out with them.
I think I'm gonna try and finish it off and just use all 3 of my attacks to hit it with the hammer.
All
just
right.
going full melee.
Yeah.
So, first attack is 31.
You're flanking, though. It's a hit. Well, no, it's still a miss.
Yeah.
It would still be a miss, yeah. But yeah, 2 actions left.
Second attack. Hang on. Let me make sure I've got my modifier in here. Oh, so I've got a plus 28 to hit, so that with flanking that would make it a 30, yeah?
Yep.
So
And then your
flanking gives
multi-attack
plus 2.
penalty. So 25 in the second attack is your bonus.
25 on the second attack.
Yep.
Okay.
I can roll it.
I got it.
Alright.
Yikes.
This as well. But it's only by bad luck, so if you want, you can make a third attempt. It's so close to death.
Definitely. What's the penalty on that?
Minus 10 total, so you're looking at 20. Plus 20 to hit.
Come on, baby. There we go. That's much better.
That's a hit. That will kill it. You can describe what you do here.
So I think that he's got this huge thundering hammer, this thundering maul, and he has seen it kind of tearing into Aghi, who looks exactly like his long-lost love, and he is enraged by the sight of this, and kind of in one smooth motion sweeps its legs out from under it and comes with an overhand strike with this maul straight into its face and just obliterates its head.
Suddenly it's gone.
And then he offers a hand to Aghi to help her up to her feet.
The
She'll
fight.
take it.
Almost lost you twice. And then he
And
turns
she looks.
and looks over his shoulder at the remaining skeletons, the archers. Shall we?
They have been cornered, but not fully dispatched. They're routed. You have a chance.
After you.
Okay.
Yeah, despite how much she's bleeding and stuff, she'll still continue forward, but she's looking around for Will, concerned that he hasn't been on the battlefield.
Yeah,
I just feel
wonder,
bad
is Will
because
anywhere?
all of my healing is negative, so there's nothing that I can do to help Aghi.
You don't-
Like,
Yeah, don't do that.
no, it
She'll
won't
be
help
fine.
at all.
Just
That'd be
gotta walk it
bad.
off. Walk it off,
Yes,
kid.
knock it
Walk
off.
it off.
You don't
So,
see.
Dead.
You don't see. Mhm.
well, so Ian, the are there things on this wall above me, or where's the next threat?
There are a couple skeletons. Archers. They're they're on the far corner of this platform. They're being tailed by a dispatch of Grave Knight. It looks like Haral and Aghi are headed that way, but there's no other threat in sight. You can still hear the din of battle far off in the distance in Kovlar. You've been informed there's a battle occurring there.
Okay. So I guess, does it look like I am needed to finish off the skeletons, or are they like pretty weak and stuff?
No, I mean, all the skeletons here on this platform, they're gone. They're dead.
Okay, cool.
They've been dealt with.
Um,
It's now just a march of Grave Knights moving up. Haral and Aghi pursuing a troop of archers.
So yeah, then I guess Altair would just sort of, with a smooth gesture, flick the remaining bits of undead gunk off of her blade, and then smoothly sheath it and look at the stranger. As much as I am loath to admit it, stranger, you have some impressive moves.
I know. You should work on yours.
Tell me, was the pompous asshole too much of a mouthful when you were thinking of a moniker? Because it is far more accurate.
I don't know the meaning of pompous.
I figured.
But
And
yes,
start
I am in
heading
fact an
towards-
asshole.
She start heading towards wherever the next spot is.
At least I don't have a tail
Yeah,
sticking
well-
out of my butt.
And across this makeshift battlefield, Haral, Aghi, what do you do when you've approached these skeletons? Good plan here. They're not really a threat to you.
Sorry,
Oh,
still
you
laughing.
melee. If anything, yeah, if I'm within melee range of anything, I'm just swinging.
Yeah. Yeah, you sort of put them in a tight spot. There's a drop behind them to the path that leads along this massive monument. And then
I
they
mean, if we can
slowly
back them
just
off
sort
the
of
edge like
fall.
lemmings, I'm totally down.
Yeah. That you do, and once you finish with that, up in your hands of this encounter, you turn and you fix your gaze to the elevation to come, looking up. I wouldn't look up too high. It's quite jarring to see where your steps would need to take you. Vertically, it's quite a trek. You see someone walking down those steps as the pale stranger Altair arrived towards it. Will again.
Where have you been, boy?
Well, Will doesn't even really like pay attention to him. My strengths are suited off the battlefield. Look to Aghi. I found a secret passage. Stairs will lead us up, and there's a crack. A few feet up. We can squeeze through there. The only problem is it's guarded by something.
Is it
Ian,
something
would this
big and
track with what
dangerous?
I already know of the tower?
I'm not familiar with this. Well, crack. Might be new. Secret passage way up.
I'm suspicious.
More like our size, but more glowy in the chest region.
Is it alive or dead?
Dead, I believe.
Oh, let's go kick its ass then. As it goes walking off.
As like the pale stranger walks off, Will just kind of like turn to Aghi and just look her up and down. It's only been like 10 minutes.
Well, you can patch me up later.
And
Altair would
he'll,
walk
like,
by.
Sooner would be better than
Like-
later.
We are in the middle of a war.
He'll take her hand and put a potion of moderate in it, and you need to be at your best all the time.
Well, we return to strategy then. As you make your way up these stairs, logistics come into play.
I want to
You
have
still
at least a couple of Grave Knights watching Will.
How many?
At least 4.
At least 4. That's not bad. That's a good detail, I'd say. Now, strategically, if there is a shortcut, a way in, your wraiths could find it, root it out if they knew where to look. But what if your grave knights, they can't scale this. If it is a secret passage, it's vertical. It might just be a climb.
Can I send one of the wraiths to the location that Will has indicated and have it actually go inside?
Yeah, and it could, because you have some time. It takes a long time to get up these stairs. And that doesn't do it justice. The path winds back and forth. Annoyingly so, actually. And the wraiths that go in, they don't come back out. If you have a chance to even message
Just
them,
one.
they're quickly... Yeah, you don't hear back from it as it makes its way into that building.
This is a danger. I want to go ahead and cast Detect Magic again. Like as we climb,
Yeah,
just
on
to
that
make sure that
range.
we're not walking into into a magical trap of some kind.
Of course, yeah. Does anybody have anything else they wish to do? On the way in.
Stranger's just pretty much on a
Oh.
straight line.
Perfect. Now, what of the men? If you find this secret passage, does the party split? As Will describes it, it's narrow, vertical. There might be a rope of some sort, but he didn't have a chance to get to see in.
I don't know about this. Something doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
We faced one bad guy, or we could keep fighting all those skeletons.
I mean, Ian, would we have to leave some of the Grave Knights behind in order to take this route?
Well, you could. The Grave Knights can scale the temple.
Okay.
The pilgrim path.
So we can all go this way.
You can all go the way you're
Technically.
coming. Yeah. You don't necessarily have to take a secret passage, but if they don't know you know the secret passage exists, maybe they don't expect to have to guard it so heavily.
That's a big if.
We can't send all the Grave Knights up and disappear off the battlefield. We should send most of them up the way that we were going.
As you say.
How long are we gonna sit here fiddle dicking around?
You know, it's a long way down, stranger. You might want to watch yourself.
Save the animosity
sorry.
for the enemy.
I think.
Aghi would look back at
Yes,
the
No, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. She would just look back at the Grave Knights and just like command that they continue up the path, and just grab the rope and start climbing.
Now, this secret passage, according to Will, it's within that building. This path, it scrapes along. It does meet this building briefly, but it's inside that Will saw this passage, because he saw what he describes. How did you describe it? Well,
I don't know. Something with a glowing chest.
yeah, some undead thing caught his eye. Why would it be wandering this forlorn, empty hall? It used to be a feast hall. Nobody eats food in Sagarak, and yet it was stalking this place. On the opportunity he had to scope it out and see ahead. So if you take it, you have to go in to find this passage. Who's interested?
Yeah.
Get the stranger fit.
You reckon?
He moves in.
Now, I think that the honor guard of Death Knights that Haral had with him before, they would be with us.
Yeah. And you're keen on heading into the secret passage, or would you like to continue up the main
The
assault?
secret passage for now.
Right.
He's using the
Altair?
Death Knights more as a decoy, or the Grave Knights more as like a decoy.
She would go, but she would be like honor guard and in the dueling stance, just like sort of, waiting, prepped and ready.
Right. Of course. Now you arrive in these halls. Every door open. The place quite nondescript. They once fed
I
people.
remember this place. I haven't been here in centuries. Best mead in all of Sagarak.
A faint glow on the far end of this large building. What do you guys do?
Move forward
Stranger starts moving towards the faint glow.
slowly. Stay close, Toby.
Do you sense like the life life force or counter life force?
Counter life force as an undead.
Okay. Yes.
Quite easy to sense. And it doesn't take long before you see it make itself known. Beastie. It, it, it turns to stop and observe the group. It's guarding something. Why would it take such great effort to guard nothing? That's really the question, isn't it? But it doesn't waste time.
Yay.
No further.
So as this thing popped out, kind of hit the stranger's arm and motioned forward, like, see? Glowing chest.
Right you are, boy. Right you are.
Can King Haral step forward and in a very commanding kind of kingly voice challenge it and tell it that I am the king here. This is my land. Who are you to tell me where I can and cannot go?
Yes, I'll
Ian,
take.
can I do a lore religion check to recall
Yes, you
knowledge
may.
about? Okay. I also
About
a
what?
student of the canon, so
What are you
hopefully that
searching to
helps.
learn? Or boneyard, eh?
Oh yeah, I have that too.
I'd take that over religion.
Oh, well, it's not written on the sheet, so like I don't know what the role would be.
Just
But
roll
I
a d20.
have the Oh, okay.
I see no crown upon the head.
True king needs no crown to rule. A crown is simple jewelry. I rule by right, you fiend.
Pale stranger just standing there, his hand sort of rested on his belt with his gun. Pardon me, shithead. You seem to have some indigestion. I might have a couple of things here that can help you with that. If you just stand still for a minute, we'll take right care of you and move you along.
Pale stranger, I want you to make a bluff check in the form of a deception skill check. That's a mighty fine standoff you've got going on there. Well. This instance, it doesn't serve you. Devour, they're fiends, but Altair, you'll note they're wicked smart. They come from places not even recognized in the boneyard. Well, the outer reaches, really the corners of the multiverse. They're a living enigma, an unliving enigma, and usually they're just a step ahead. They remind you a bit of aboleths, in that they're really from far, far away, and they're usually more than a few steps ahead. Haral's moving in. The bluff check on behalf of the Pale Stranger. We're going to make an initiative. I've rolled them all. And from the top, it's King Haral. The doors are wide open. What do you do?
I will give you one last chance to step aside and stand down before we send you to your maker. What say you, beast?
Hmm.
Could I try like an intimidation or something?
Yeah, I'd make an intimidation check.
$39.
It's not hostile to you, but it attempts to cast suggestion. Not much a trick, but
Oh.
just more as a trying to favor you. Trying to make you understand its perspective through magic. It is a will save. Even you have to make one. But then the other thing it does is it closes the doors behind it in particular. That's worth noting. Fail the will save.
30. I failed the will save.
All you had to do was say that you lied. Say that you cheated. And you hated your kind.
But that would be a lie.
Say it. You hated your kind. Now you can spend a hero point. The hero point you earned from felling the beast below in an attempt to re-roll that will save. Otherwise, you're under the effect of a suggestion spell.
I think I will spend that. Just out of
Yeah.
sheer stubbornness. $41. Never. It was they who hated me.
Fantastic. And Aghi, you're on initiative. What do you do?
So it seems like Heral is able to talk to this thing and it has not attacked yet.
No, yeah, they're trading words. It's half hostile.
What language are we speaking?
Bitter tense. Necral. Dwarven dialect. Necral.
God. So Aghi doesn't understand a thing.
No.
She will go forward behind Heral and just sort of wait. She'll. Are we killing him or not?
Maybe do a
She'll
ready
wait
action.
for him to respond. Yeah, if
Yeah,
the
for
thing
melee.
moves forward.
Wait.
Been drawn.
Well, actually, that I would say that that's up to you, love.
Yeah, she has an axe in her hand.
Excellent. Yeah, she waits at the ready with Leviathan, doesn't she? And what about
Oh, I wish.
our cowboy? What about the pale stranger?
Pale Stranger looks over at Al. Al. Are we not shooting this thing? Silence is golden. He pulls his gun and shoots.
And that's the bluff check.
I gave it a chance.
That's where the bluff check went. All right. That's quite the distance. Make your attack. The thing's flat-footed.
It is.
Didn't expect that.
I believe it's going to be at a -4 because of the distance. Is it -4 for each range increment beyond the first, or -2?
I think it's -2.
2?
We'll do -2. Yep.
Okay. First one is hit. It will be doing positive damage to it since I believe it is dead.
It sure is.
And then he will do a
Oh, brilliant.
paired shot for the next one. Fire off both his guns at it.
A hit.
And then that one might be a miss. Yep.
It unfortunately is. Right. All right. Well, that brings us to Will then, huh? Well, I think the dead should stay dead. So, what are you gonna do about this guy?
So Will will look at Aghi and cast True Target. So her next attack she rolls with advantage.
All right.
And then he will then cast Spell Rack on it. Which Spell Rack is a will saving throw. DC 32.
It fails.
So if he is affected by any persistent damage of a spell or a he takes an additional 2d12 of damage. And that's lasting.
Right. It's added persistent. Wow, that's incredible. So then Altair.
Okay. So, I'm gonna be in, so I'd come in like the dueling stance or whatever.
Yeah.
And since it's a new fight, I have panache, which means I get to move faster. So I think I can close the distance to get into melee range with it. If I'm right, because I believe I can move up to 55 feet.
Right. Okay.
So
Excellent.
yeah, so I'm gonna do that.
It will trigger an attack of opportunity.
Okay. Is there a way to avoid that? Like if I do
Not without adding another
or
action through a tumble or a
Okay.
step.
let me think. Yeah. I could tumble behind it. That could be cool.
As a second action. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Acrobatics.
I will use assurance. So I believe that,
It's like a 35.
yes.
Wouldn't you know it? That's a success. You have an action
Ugh.
left.
I'm sorry?
You have an action left. And it
Okay.
is still flat-footed.
Cool. Then I'm going to hit it. And I'll use a bleeding finisher. Or actually, no, I'll use perfect finisher so I can roll twice. That's 1. Okay. Well, you know, I was hoping I could try for a
35,
critical,
yeah.
but yeah. But either way, it's a hit. So it takes that plus, oh god, let's see. Whoops. Hang on. 1, 3, 4, 5. Plus that. Plus. 2 more d6 of positive damage. So hang on. So yeah,
Excellent.
I think that's all the things.
Yeah. Hurrah. Back to you.
I warned you. I'm going to cast Ray of Enfeeblement on this thing.
Oh, excellent. Will save? Or did you save?
It says, attempt a ranged spell attack against a creature. If you succeed, it attempts a fortitude save
right.
in order to determine the spell's effect.
You succeeded the attack, and it in turn failed at the save, I believe. For spell.
The DC is 35.
It fails at the save.
So
It is
failure
enfeebled.
means that it becomes enfeebled 2.
Excellent. All right, what other actions do you have?
I'm going to use a movement to move up to it and then hit it with my hammer. I warned you, beast. I am king here. Whack.
You can't see them.
All
Where
right.
is it? Oh, sorry. Hang on. Modifier. Is it flanked?
It is flanked, actually. And what other actions do you have left?
I think that's it, actually. Well, hang on a second. Oh, no, I wouldn't be able to hit because Ray of Enfeeblement is 2 actions. So I would just be able to move up to it and like ready a melee attack for next turn.
Excellent. Yeah, and this thing is quite mad, but not at you. It can't do what it needs to do to you, so it turns to Altair and places that long, spidery hand reaching for her. It's a touch. Altair, make a fortitude save for me.
Ah! Oh god.
Do you have any hero points?
I don't unless the chat wants to give me some.
Yeah, use them now
Hey
instead.
chat. Hey
Next
chat.
Use them now so they can. No, save them. Save them all.
Oh, that's fair.
Save them for next week.
Oh
you
man.
let this party go.
So not using them?
I mean, I don't have any hero points unless, like I said, unless somebody gives me one. So yeah. Ugh. Oh no, that's a lot of dice.
Oh, it's not bad. 24 points of negative damage pulling you in, and oh, as well as a claw attack.
Okay.
A critical
Ah!
hit.
Oh wait, hang on. Oh, never mind. That's on crit fail. My bad. Go ahead.
All right. So
Ugh.
2d10 plus 13. It came in as double that. So that's applied twice, and then you need another fortitude save.
Oh no. Okay.
You're not grabbed from it though. That's the fortunate thing. Aghi, you are next. Your
Good.
fortitude save is a success.
These roll. Ha!
You're good. Aghi. What are you doing? It's getting tense, isn't it? Oh, yes. Indeed you are. But your attack is a critical hit. In on a charge. You may roll damage. I think you're still muted, but this thing is heavily wounded.
I'm muted.
You have an action. All right. Excellent. That's good. I can
Sorry
interpret
about
what
that.
you're doing. And that swimmingly, you're killing it. Literally. What do you do last time?
So it is knocked back 5 feet, and she will follow that up.
Right.
We are not a good hit.
Hmm. Problem. All right, stranger.
Alright, Pale Stranger's gonna move up a bit. And I think that might get him close enough for a good shot. We'll spend 2 actions for paired shot. Oh,
Oh. Hit and a critical miss.
I don't critical miss on my shots.
Oh, hey.
That's all of his actions.
Hey, Will.
That's her. Does it matter?
It is. Aghi's charging the battle yet again.
Of course. So
Wouldn't want her to die.
can you make me a fortitude save for it? DC 32.
Yeah. Describe what you're casting here.
Okay. So he will like kind of clasp his hands together and dark energy starts to flow around him as beneath the large undead, oily black substance starts to reach up and grasp around its legs. like 3 or 4 black tentacles reach up and lash out at him.
Aghi, you see this. This is disturbing. This is not Will as you remember. This might be reason why he wouldn't look you in the eye. Not quite. And he wears this mask. Nevertheless, I think you have an action left if you choose to move up.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Altair. It's your turn.
Let's see. So, let me think. It's a cool way to recover panache here. So what is the what is like, is my back against a wall right now, or a pillar, or like, what is
Good question. You are on the other side of a closed door.
okay.
You're between the devourer and the door. The door it's guarding. There's something important on the other side there. Be sure.
I'm kind of curious to open the door.
Nah.
Huh?
Interesting.
Uh,
What do you do?
let's see. I don't know. I guess I will. Let me think. I will try to use demoralize action. I don't think I will succeed, but I might as well try because I need to recover panache. That didn't roll on the thing, but that's okay. Alright.
38. To demoralize?
Mm-hmm.
It succeeds.
Phew. So we should have frightened 1, and more importantly, I gained panache. So I will again try to hit with a what do you might call it? Perfect finisher.
Okay.
Ooh. Second roll. Alright, so the 17 hits. I'm assuming it's not a critical, right?
It is not a critical.
Okay. So he takes that plus oops. That or not, because that didn't roll on the thing. That plus the 2d6 of the positive damage. Oh. Or not?
No, it's still standing. I don't know why I play it that way.
Okay.
Adam. All right. Do you have any actions left?
I do. I think. Oh God. I want to do something. Oh wait. Yeah, like I think I'll do. Can I do a tumble action to move into this square? Like especially if I like, I don't know, use like the wall or something to get a strike, or not a strike, but like, jump over any potential like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Acrobatics check.
Cool. Because I want to gain panache for my next turn.
Ooh. What do you see? It's successful.
Cool. So yeah, I feel like as it, like she just sort of like does that, again, that samurai like sheath and swing. And then before it can retaliate, she like ducks back, grabs on top of the thing, and then swings into the other space.
This thing would be terrifying in another circumstance, but you're among good company. Namely that of an undead king that wishes to see this thing undone. Brawl, it's your turn. You gave this thing a warning and it didn't listen. It gave you a command and you didn't follow it. You rejected it, namely the suggestion that you should renounce your love for Balgora. You refused, as you've done for centuries. Now, face to face with this thing, what do you do?
I'm hitting it with a giant hammer. And between swings of the hammer, saying, I will never recant.
That's
47
critical
to hit
hit.
the first time.
That's a critical hit.
Will you roll that damage for me, please?
Yeah, it's
2d12 plus 12, bludgeoning.
You're killing this thing. Bring it to 0.
Plus 1d6 sonic damage.
That's just the cherry on the top that busts that door open behind it.
Still hitting it like over and over and over again, just in rage.
Yeah,
turning it into a
transforming.
paste, basically.
Yeah, your Greg Knights are filing in behind you. This thing is bone meal. Does anyone stop him? One, 2, 3, 4 strikes. Nobody here would they?
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's undead. Fuck it.
He finally kind of comes out of his rage, and when he looks up, he realizes that Aghi is standing right next to him, and he just kind of meets her eyes and then looks away and steps over it, walks through the door.
The pale stranger would have been there on the other side of the body, just watching it getting hammered. When the king finally walks away, stranger kneels down to where the glowing piece was in his chest. Told you, heartburn, it's a killer. And he reaches into the chest and grabs at, or at least attempts to grab at the thing that made it undead. The piece of death's soul or energy that was in there, trying to reach and grab at it, but realizing the curse of this place won't allow him to remove such a thing just yet. Annoyed, he gets back up and follows the rest of the group. He does shoot it one more time, though.
As a good measure, right? Haral is implicated in this thing, but it does make you wonder now. Altair, what does this mean about Will then? Was he not to die yet, or has he? Well, Will is moving up towards this statue. Aghi, how do you react to him passing you?
She catches his arm.
He'll stop.
What the hell was that? She doesn't like try to clarify or anything. She just asks.
Just doing what I have to do. Fulfilling a promise I made.
What promise did you make? You sound like Sailix right now.
When she says Sailix's name, he rips his hand from her arm. He's like, yeah. Must run in the blood. He walks up to the statue and kind of just pushes it aside to reveal that hidden passage. What?
There's a choice to be made. There's a known path that winds up the temple of all gods. Or you can take this passage, the one that's been guarded. Presumably, they might lead to the same place. There are two ways to get there. You can split, or you can choose one. What do you guys do?
Tail Stranger just walks
Could I call a
through the
raid?
passage.
Yeah, the wraiths return. You've noticed that the remnants, some of them, the one died here, ambushed by the Devourer. Its soul seemingly consumed into some esoteric existence you can't seem to comprehend with the Devourer. But, yeah, the wraiths, they arrive.
I'd like to send
see
one
who
ahead
they
as a
are.
scout.
They move ahead,
Go.
but does the party wait for a wraith to scout on?
Stranger
Report
doesn't.
back to me.
Altair would follow the stranger and just like kind of look at
Yeah.
Aghi and just be like, "Are you coming?"
Um,
I'll actually send a
Augie,
couple of
looks.
wraiths this time.
Now, interesting question then for Hral and Aghi. Hral, your men, your grave knights, your loyalists, all that survive to serve you, at least the ones strong enough to serve you when you don't have your crown, they leading an assault. The wraiths have reported to you that the battle continues along the winding path that leads to the top, to the chapel of Torah, and to the chapel of Magnum up there, both at the apex. But, do you fight with them? Because you could. Aghi, you as well. Or you could let them be the distraction. Look to you.
Good choice.
Yeah.
I feel like Aghi is very singularly minded. Like, she knows that they need to take this temple at the same time everyone else is going after Strumerix. So if this is the
Right.
quickest path, she's going to climb up.
How about you, Hral?
Oh, I think that having the Grave Knights be a kind of one tip of the spear, kind of going up the main path, I think it makes sense for us to come in the back door and take the secret passage and kind of split the attention of our enemy. So if everyone else is going through the secret passage, I think that Hral and his small contingent of just a few of these Grave Knights would go with the rest of the group, with Altair and
Here's the problem.
Stranger, etc.
As you arrive, a 10-foot drop, where the statue was moved. Will happen to know where this thing was. 10-foot drop through a tunnel. At the end of the tunnel, 20 feet in diameter, is a cave opening. This place is sort of like a hollowed tube. And it seems to wind up. It's not perfectly cut, so there's some winding, but a rope. Supposedly it leads straight up, wouldn't it? It is as far as you can tell. As far as the wraiths can go.
I would
It'll be a
definitely send the
climb.
wraiths up to check to see where the rope goes to and have them report back to me.
Right. A flash of fire.
Buddy system, though. At least 2 of
Far
them
up
at a
in the
time.
top. The voice of the wraiths goes silent.
Well, at least we know that there's a danger at the top of the tunnel. I would tell
Big fucking surprise there.
Aghi this. Just be aware. Be careful.
For the first time, Aghi looks a little uncertain.
Allow me to
as
go
she
first, actually.
she'll stop her all real quick and look back at Will. How'd you even find this spot?
Talking to Will?
Yeah.
The crack in the wall, and I followed it to here.
Is there, Ian, an insight check I can do? I don't know what it is in Pathfinder.
Yeah, it's a perception check versus the deception DC. Dude, just make a
Okay. Well, never mind.
Yeah, weird though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
all of it sounds legit.
Kind of. Yeah, but in this conversation, you know you're missing someone. You're missing a brimmed hat and a pair of guns. Stranger made himself strange, and he's already about headed up towards the fiery doom that consumed the king's royal whisperers.
Well, and here I was going to use my frightful presence to our advantage.
Where is Will standing? Because Aghi wants to walk up to him.
Not far. Feet from you, why? You may.
So Aghi approaches Will and just looks at him like, take off that fucking mask.
He'll take it off. Let it drop to the ground. Happy now?
She will like take his face in her hands and like try and look him in the eye. Well, we are going into battle in there.
You don't want to do this, Aghi. Not right now. We're so close. You don't want this, right?
Never fucking seen you use shadow magic. You're not supposed to be here. You were back at the Citadel.
He'll reach up and he'll grab her hand. And he'll look up meeting her eyes for the first time, the sadness is on her face. I want you to know I made a promise. Do you trust me?
Yes.
I'm sorry. He'll touch the top of her head with 2 fingers, and as he does, she sees the vision of Will being dragged through the shadow plane by hysteria, forced out, and the last words he spoke to Sailix and the others before exploding. While that's happening, Haral will notice that a huge black wingspan erupts off the back of Will's back as the clothes he was wearing fade away to be a dark mockery of what Sailix usually wears. His hair long and black, shadows arcing around him. As he pulls his hand back from Aghi's face, he'll look at her. I made a promise to my little brother, because Sailix wasn't the only one that lost him that day.
Aghi, you don't know what that means. The little brother, you don't know who's little brother. You don't know what he's talking about or who lost who, but you know this isn't Will. You can hear gunshots above you, though. Dead bodies.
God damn it, since when did you dead fuckers start casting spells? Stop flying around, you pieces of shit. I gotta aim.
Some fire wizards just falling out of the sky.
Ah,
It's like undead
motherfucker.
creatures.
Ah!
Clumps of ghouls.
I swear to God, you fucking sons of bitches.
That'll lighten the mood.
Suddenly the threat.
Can I cast fly on
might-
myself and just like right up the tube?
Yeah, you can. Absolutely.
It's
so
Toby, you stay here.
It might take Aghi a few moments to fully recollect what happened, but what Zestrix did was he joined past with Aghi. So not only did he show her that brief moment, but he showed her all the moments that he got to watch as Sailix's shadow that were joyful to Sailix with Will. So pretty much showing her who he was also in that same breath.
Aghi, how do you react to that?
She is silent for a long time.
The party can, to move up. You know there's a way behind you. But yeah, what do you do?
You just sort of see her fist curl into like this white knuckled grip. I don't know who the fuck you are, what kind of magic this is. And she will strike him. Because she
Go
thinks
right
he's
ahead.
lying. critical.
Critical miss.
As she goes to strike him, he's just going to kind of move his head out of the way and catch her hand and kind of like spin her around to face away from him, where he can kind of grab her from behind. And his wings will wrap around both of them as he says in her ear, "You don't have time to do this. I understand it's hard, but we have a job to do."
Oh, he makes sense, but no. Get the fuck out of here.
I'll just kind of whisper to her, "My promises aren't so easily broken." And disappear, heading upstairs to the others.
Altera, take it you're headed up as well. Yeah?
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
she would have just like quietly watched the whole exchange, like, you know, in that sort of like contemplative, meditative stance before like the before Zestrix bamps away, and then she just sort of looks at Aghi, almost as if sincerely like looking for an answer to the question. She will say, are all angels that melodramatic? Or is it just them?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about or who that is.
He seems to know
Ow!
you, my
Get
dear.
your sea shanty ass up here!
Is he talking to me? Or is he talking to Haral? I don't understand.
Aghi, I think you're actually
I think
till now.
Haral's already up there because he's flying
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay. Yeah.
Now,
Um.
yeah, you follow Aghi. I take it up there. You're headed up.
Yeah.
This cursed business. Aghi, where do you go?
So she fully believes that Zestrix is lying. At least that's what she wants to believe right now. So she just grabs the rope and goes up.
Yeah, and you notice something too. As you're grabbing the rope, you feel a sudden pinch, like something with the rope is stabbing you. And then you realize it's your ring. You know it's connected to only one person right now. For the most part, things have been so intense that you both have just made do with ignoring the signals altogether, because it's been total calamity. But now this isn't just distress. This is pain. A lot of pain. But you don't have much issue with it. So do you continue?
Yeah, she told Vespa she'd keep the ring as long as she was able to. So she will just kind of grit her teeth and continue up.
Excellent. To have arrived first would be the Pale Stranger, Haral, and Zestrix. Not Will, but Alabdil, right? And what you three see shortly before Aghi, Altair make earshot, is a wide open chamber of a room, once cluttered. An altar, is now a dark, eerie place. But only just as you were arriving around the curve, you heard voices, people talking. It's very dark in here. There are no light sources. A woman moves across one desk to the other, back and forth, checking notes. You can see strange spilling, fluids leaking out of the 6 statues that line this chamber. It's a temple to Magrum, the dwarven god of death and judgment. What do you guys do?
Bastard.
Zestrix is going to cast invisibility on himself.
Just like that,
I'm
Zestrix
consistently
vanished.
floating 6 inches off the ground. Just because I can.
Stranger.
Stranger only sees the one person?
The one woman, yeah.
Not really skipping a beat once he gets a beat on her. Well, hello there. Is this all your fault?
What? Psychopomps? That it?
Who, me?
Altair, you two arrive now. Behind. That's it then. This would be my magnum.
Do you think I'm one of them psychopomps?
Look at.
Answer my question. Is this all your fault?
It's the fault of many. I'm here, yeah?
Right. Well, you see, I'm death. And you've pissed me off. And I'm gonna kill you.
I would like to cast Detect Magic again. Just while I'm listening to the stranger give this speech.
While the
From the top of
stranger
the
is
stairs.
talking, I'd also like to do a perception check to see if I can spot anything hidden.
Alright.
Oh, God. Fucking roll.
You two head down the stairs, yeah?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this way.
Alright.
She's following the stranger, just like, you know, again, like in that dueling stance with her hand on her sword, just waiting.
Now I know
Right,
what you're
no more.
thinking. You're thinking you got the upper hand here. I get it. I'm just a dead man walking. But I can assure you, you are gonna lose this fight. And you are not gonna like where you end up.
No, he'll be here in a minute. Then you're done.
I don't give a shit who's coming. If it's their fault
Yeah.
that these people keep coming back from the dead, I'll kill them too.
She walks up. It looks like a throne. Up there on top, built shape of 2 dragon heads. But the seat is oddly shaped. It's strangely rounded. She expects it. He'll be here. He'll be dead. The triad. We. You got this.
Listen, bitch, I'm already dead. We had a conversation, maybe had a cup of coffee, a little whiskey. They decided to let me back out. So now I'm here to kick your ass. So either sit down, shut up, and take this bullet, or please fight back.
Got a gift. From Vishumarex. Altair and Pale Stranger, I need you to both make reflex saves.
Okay.
Suddenly snap the fingers. We will roll initiative on this. Very clear act of war, but 46 and 29.
I do have
Again.
the evasion stiff though. So I think I take half damage if I fail.
Right.
Yeah, if the stranger also has evasion, so successes equal critical success.
Yeah. Well, I have
Excellent.
whatever the next one is too.
So the DC for this attack has two beams of magma erupt from the mouths of the dragon statuettes in this throne. Is extremely high. A 46 is a regular success.
Critical
And
success for me.
Okay. And a 29 is a critical failure.
Regular failure.
It's increased
'Cause
by
I
one
have
step even
the-
on a critical failure?
I have the second, whatever the next evasion is, the like uncanny evasion or whatever. Also, it's the same one that rogues get. So basically, the second one says that your failures or your critical failures become failures, and you take half damage if it's a thing that you see.
Okay. Excellent. 60 points of damage.
Lord, and that's in half.
Yes.
Ow.
As the breath attack,
Oh,
as magma and
thank
bludgeoning
God I have a-
pulls.
Am I to presume that the stranger took nothing with the critical save?
You'll be on stage. Yeah.
All right.
Altair looks very unhappy.
So for dramatic effect, the magma just sort of spews across him.
Yep.
The smoke and steam kind of rolling over as this woman just sees the hat and smoke wafting off of it, and two red eyes glow.
Ooh.
Now listen
Oh.
here, you Peasley last son of a bitch. I've got two guns. I'm gonna bury them both directly into your fucking eye sockets and blow the brains out of the back of your goddamn head. You do not get to run from me.
Furious, intimidated by you, but not to the
Frightful
extent
presence
where
with that one.
Okay, excellent. All that I
DC
reminded you,
30. Let me check the save on that.
She's got to deal with mine too.
DC 33 will save on the frightful presence.
I got a critical success on your frightful presence and a success on Haral's frightful presence. Flesh roaster.
You want me to just do a
After
straight
a-
intimidate check?
Yeah, you may.
Not very good.
Fucking bitch.
40
I know exactly who this
Hit.
is.
with the whip. She
Oh.
calls Flesh Roaster as she summons it, slashing.
Does
at
it
all
do?
together.
What kind of damage does it do?
Slashing and fire.
All right.
And with a second attack, throwing a hammer at Haral. She sees him, line of sight, a critical hit. 48 damage before it returns to her. That marks her turn. Haral, it is your turn.
I am flying still. And I'm gonna. Is this a like a banister that I'm standing next to? Like a short wall. Can I see over this to what's going on in there?
Flying, you can see over it, yeah.
I will go over it and then land behind her. There. Or
How high up?
Sorry.
You might provoke.
About 6 feet off the ground. So I'm literally like hovering in the air, kind of trying to be imperious and kingly, and kind of very not happy with her.
Yeah, she will use the opportunity to run a whip at you again. Flesh Roaster. Annoyingly, she calls it every time. She makes a strike, 28 points of damage. But you have 2 actions left, so what do you do?
Oh, gosh. Oh, no, that'll hit them too. Ooh. I am going to cast blindness on her.
Excellent. We'll
Fortitude DC 35. Fortitude.
DC 35. Okay. She failed. She failed the Fortitude save.
So, she is blinded for 1 minute. And that is
All
the end
right.
of my turn.
Milky Whites.
You
Pale
messed
Stranger.
with the wrong dwarf, bitch.
Oh, what does blind do?
She can't see anything.
First, yeah, thanks. That's fair. Yeah,
Well
that
said.
Blind the
insight,
target.
your hero point, Haral. Thank you. In all seriousness, she is unable.
She is blinded for 1 minute.
I'm just curious what the combat effects are.
Yeah.
I know exactly who this bitch is. Oh god, this is so hard to separate character knowledge and player knowledge. Like, oh my god. I wish Dwarf was here.
What is to perception? It's a hit to perception.
Mhm.
Plus literal blindness.
All right, he's gonna do a paired shot at her.
Got hit and a miss.
Just a hit.
Yeah, 1 hit, 1 miss. Regular hit.
And then he'll do a 2-weapon flurry attack.
It's a
Both
critical
misses, I
miss.
guess.
Yeah, it is a critical miss. Make a reflex save for me.
He doesn't critical miss on firearm shots.
Never mind. Clever boy. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Okay. So is taking a step forward, is that an action or no?
Step is an action, but it won't provoke
It
an
is?
attack.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, she would move forward to attack her. And use my what do you call it? Bleeding finisher. If I can.
Yep.
Cause I got panache. And she's a bit pissed off that what's her face isn't in the combat tracker. Okay. Well,
That's revealed.
alright. I don't know if that hits or not. I'm
It
assuming
is a
not.
miss. Oh, you have an
Okay.
action left.
I do. I'm gonna try to use what do you call it? The intimidation. Demoralize. Regain my panache. And that is terrible because
Critical
apparently
failure.
I can't roll double digits right now. Alright, that's my actions.
All right. And Zestrix.
Alright.
And Aghi. Aghi is, I imagine, springing to action here.
So as Aghi would get to the top of the stairs, or on top of the, and go to move forward, she would feel multiple sets of hands, like bracing her limbs, as Zestrix appeared in front of her in a flurry of feathers and shadow. Just kind of look at behind and then look back to her. He's like, "You feel it just like I do. This, whatever they're here doing, it's not important. Sailix needs you. They all need you. No longer asking." Just kind of puts his hand around the small of her back, pulls her to him as they both fade into the shadow realm.
What?
What? Real quick, I feel like while Augie was like ascending, she would quickly send a mental image of Zestrix to Rune, and ask, "Who is this?"
Rune, this is the first time the telepathic bond has been broken in the many hours it would have been useful. Rune, you've forgotten about this telepathic bond, at least where it first to Augie, because nobody wanted to talk to Augie at the risk of explaining that Will is fucking again. However, she just who Zestrix is. And I want to catch everybody up, because Rune right now, for context, is scaling a cliff of dried magma towards a massive dragon alongside his friends. The dragon is just waiting for them to arrive, but while you're headed there, you get this message. And as you're sort of coming around the corner to see this dragon, Bashumrix, you get that image of Zestrix in your hand.
And where's Sailix?
Well, for those for those next to Rune, he stops in arguably abject fear and sorrow at hearing the voice of Aghi in his head.
Yeah.
He will return the image of the dragon that he is now looking at to Aghi, and simply say, "This is all very quick. My friend Aghi, we are entering dangerous territory, and I honestly do not know if we will return. Who you saw was Zestrix, the shadow brother of Sailix. And I want you to know what happened today. It was no one's fault. We all made our choices. Now finish what you got to do and save Sagarak. I give you my word. We'll do the exact same thing."
And then that image fades, doesn't it? And in time for Ilzra. You guys don't know how important she is for this operation. Yeah, she turns to Haral. Furious. Blindly, but flailing flesh roaster. The double action. It isn't hit. She figured out where you are, though. You're dealt slashing damage, and she used that once you're pinned to throw a hammer. As well, which returns. There's a single action left. She will take a step.
Oh, I do have damage resistance 10, by the way.
Okay, I'll add that.
Which I just found. Physical 10.
It's your
except for
turn.
magic bludgeoning damage. I'm going to cast Deafness on her.
Deafness?
Just for fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Am I still bound by Flesh Roaster? It's a 35 DC. So now she's blind and deaf.
All right, what else do you do? Because she won't know. So. Okay, yeah. What else do you do?
I am gonna back away actually, and I'm gonna kind of let the stranger and Altair just kind of have at her while I inspect this throne and see if there's any way for me to disrupt the flows of magic that are heading to this throne.
Yeah.
Just for the moment.
Yeah.
And I am
reflex
still
save
like
from your roll.
6 feet in the air.
Yeah. Actually, then no, don't make a reflex save. As you approach that throne, you start to see someone form from it. More on that later. Stranger, it's your turn.
All right. The stranger will conduct a 2-weapon flurry. Oh.
That's critical
Oh
hit.
my. Oh my.
Boy.
I'll go ahead and finish out the attack with a paired shot with the last 2. Oh. 1 actual hit.
It's a good hit, though.
Oh, because it was a critical hit and he has specialization with firearms, she gets the critical effect of firearms being As I can
Yeah.
find it here. She must succeed at a fortitude save. DC 33. She'll probably make this one, though.
Makes it.
Oh, yeah. Alright. Similar to before, the weapons sort of pull in this sort of negative death energy into the chamber before firing it off. One of them clips her squarely in the upper shoulder, and he looks at her and says, "Listen here, bitch, you look at me. You worry about me."
She can't hear anything you say. She's deaf.
Not that he knows
Yeah,
it.
someone back at this point. Yeah, you rolled your
She can't look at you either because she's blind.
absolutely reeling.
Ian, I assume with her being blind and deaf, that tumbling through her is, with assurance, is easy as fuck, right?
There's no issue there. No.
Cool. So yeah, she's gonna basically do a dramatic roll forward and a stab backwards with I'm gonna try perfect finisher. Cause I want a murder face. Let's try that again. Oh God! What the fuck? Alright, so I guess thankfully I'll take the regular myth. Ugh, Jesus. So that's 2, and then I guess I'll tumble back, so that way I can fucking have panache on my next turn. These dice, man, this sucks.
Remember, guys, save those chat points so you can buy those hero points.
You will desperately need it. She takes no actions on her turn except to move in the direction opposite she's been attacked.
I get an attack of opportunity then.
Take it. And then Haral.
Oh, yeah, so do I.
It's a miss.
Oh,
A
nice!
hit. All right. All right, Haral, you approach the throne.
Yes, and I see these like veins of magical energy flowing towards the throne itself.
Yeah, and that this throne seems.
I would like to
be
cast
built.
Dispel Magic.
Okay.
How do I actually do that?
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I'll give you. You have a hunch. If the curse was split across 2 thrones, it's harder to break. This isn't where Vishumarix is, yet it's a throne. Maybe he was in agreement with somebody. Maybe he was working with somebody. Maybe you heard a thing or two about the Scarlet Triad. Maybe this throne is one of 2 pieces to a puzzle. Something you're connected to. This throne has been perpetuating the undead. But this isn't where the undead are controlled from, is it? You may dispel it, but you're not sure what happens when you do such a thing. So what do you do?
First, I wait for the train to go by. Hang on a second. Okay. Screw it. I'll sit down.
Sit. Your
I'll
eyes
sit on the
go
throne.
white. Ilstra. You see, but before your eyes fade out, you notice. You can tell she wanted that throne. She wanted to sit here. Sagarak to be ruled by two rulers. Perhaps. The usurpers. Maybe it was Falrock in line at one point. Maybe that's why he stole the crown from you and gave it to Vishumarex. But it doesn't matter because everyone that's ever worked with
city.
Everyone that's worked for Vishumarex is dead now. But as your eyes shut, you see a vision of a battlefield. Something massive. A huge throne, almost identical to the one you're sitting. Atop it, a dragon. 6 heroes in pursuit, headed up to meet him. For fate, you know these two thrones are connected. Just as the two gods, Pharasma and Magrum, are connected to this curse. This is all you can do. You can sit and wait, and when it's time to judge, you judge. And speaking of judgment, Stranger, Altair. She's cornered. The weapon slips out of her arms. She's at your mercy. What do you do?
A stranger will walk up to her, pulling another one of those little barrels out from his jacket. And he looks and he just walks up and places it in her hands. And then he pulls out his gun, holding the barrel, points it. I don't know if you can see what's going on, but I want you to understand that you are a dead woman. And he shoots it.
She heard nothing, saw nothing, and felt the barrel in her hand. Feeling around for it in desperation, but right before you pulled the trigger, you could have sworn she was looking for a spout somewhere, maybe. But now she doesn't exist. Turning your gaze, you see the undead King Haral sitting on a throne, those strands of green disease slowly working out, weakening as he tries to right this wrong from a new throne. Across Sagarak, far underground, Rune, Vesperin, Waldorff, you see, and Sailix, you see Aghi arrive with Zestrix, but he's unstable. He slowly just merges back in a shadow, back to Sailix, who then darkens again. You realize Sailix wasn't casting a shadow until he arrived again. You're with Aghi and Poppy. Before you use a massive dragon. Come on up. It's destiny, isn't it? General Skysteel. You'll survive this, the rest of you. I'll mourn for you. And that's where we're going to end off tonight, guys. All right. So, the quick recap. Operation Storm the Temple was a resounding success. The Shumerix is a resounding maybe. We will have a giveaway next week for everyone who is interested. The working idea now is that you are given an entry upon participating with a keyword. You're given an entry that's doubled if you're a subscriber. And then if you grant 1 hero point, but not any more than that, you will get a third entry, and that is the ceiling. The moment the dragon, by way of 0 hit points, we will give away the beginner box that we've got our hands on from Paizo. This is next week, because we will be celebrating our 50th episode of the Age of Ashes. It has been over a year, and the stakes are just incredible. So, RIP to the ones that we might lose along the way, but I'm so looking forward to it. The 6 of you. I love you all. Good luck. Let's do our outros, starting with Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen. Tonight I played Altair Basima, who had amazing rolls at the beginning and garbage rolls at the end. So that kind of sucked. But you can find me on the internet as Savage Sparrow, savagesparrow.com for amazing nerdy shirts and apparel.
Mr. Smith.
Hello, I am Mr. Smith. I played the Pale Stranger this evening, along with a touch of Ruined Ravenswood. You can find me at IamMrSmith.com. The links to all of my socials are there. We have plenty of shows going on here, so please come check those out. And definitely come back next week when we cry at the sight of a gigantic dragon. I know I will. I'll have alcohol to help. Drink responsibly.
Sam.
Oh man. Hi guys, I'm Sam. I played Aghi tonight, who is finally sinking in that something bad happened. So we'll see how that goes next week. And make sure that you come next week for this beginner box. I'm so excited.
Very exciting.
Mhm.
Daniel.
Hi guys, I'm Daniel. I played Zestrix, who was playing Will tonight. Great. Had to keep that under wraps for a whole week. But next week is my birthday, which is really auspicious. That is falling on the 50th episode. So definitely come in and check us out. We'll be drinking. It's a rare sight. So definitely come in and give us some of those hero points. But yeah, super excited.
Last but certainly not least, in the foreground of the giant dragon, James.
Oh, thank you so much. This was such a blast to play King Haral of Sagarak. This is my city, bitch. I cannot wait until next week to come back as Waldorff Skysteel and face this big old dragon in a pit of lava. Once again, as always, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/pennyforatale. Give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube. And don't forget to come back next week. I cannot wait to see what happens next. And I really hope we get to come back and find out what happens to Haral sitting on this throne, because that was a lot of fun to play him.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed. And yeah, come give us your hero points, because we are going to need them.
Yes, because you're fighting this thing. This thing? This isn't a picture. This is the enemy. It's a threat. It is a threat. I don't know how to give anyone a sense of scale and how difficult it is going to be to kill, but it's
We're
quite
in danger.
hard. And we explicitly
I'm going
tell
full
the viewer-
Bilbo.
to healthcare. So if they die,
I would
don't know, it's
love to
going
get
be
some
worthwhile no
Cumberbatch
matter what.
voice action going on for this dragon.
Right.
Mm.
Bet. Okay, yeah, and if you're interested in being a voice for a dragon, I guess just email me because I'm just gonna keep roping people into doing voices for me until this wraps. So,
Cucumber patch.
oh my gosh, the Schumerix Cumberbatch. So yeah, well that's all I've got tonight, guys. Tune in next week, 8:30 p.m. We are sponsored by Fantasy Grounds Unity, the only sheet. Our music tonight with Rock Narden, Michael Gelfi. We use maps from Che and Piku, as well as Seafoot Games on Patreon. We didn't use any tonight, but we use them most weeks. They're also exceptional. We'll have links to their maps in the show notes. But other than that, I'm going to let you guys go to sleep. Thank you for watching. And we will see you. So that's just a fact at this point. So take care.